Hi, this is Mark and welcome to another waveform tutorial. Today's tutorial is on gain staging, one of the most overlooked yet vitally important parts of audio and music production, particularly in digital because a lot of people overlook it so badly. So let's have a look at what gain staging is, and to illustrate our point, let's just look at a typical channel strip which you might see on a mixer. In this case it's from a DAW. So we can see at the very top we have an input or trim pot, so it allows us to adjust the gain of our signal. Now, crucially important to note that the effects are after it in the signal chain. And then if we look down below it, we can see that we have their fader at the end. So the fader comes after the effect. If you learn one thing from this tutorial, and that was it, you've learned something crucially important. So let's see why this is so important. Okay, so we have a session in Ableton and we have three clips: drums, bass, and dulcimer. So if we zoom out, we can see we've got a healthy level in each of our tracks. In fact, we're going to have too much, as we'll see when we play the three together. So immediately see our red clipping indicators going off, and if we drag up here just to see the tracks, we can see the clip meters there reading quite high. So the three of those add together. When they hit the master bus, we get overload. So digital clipping. So we'll just see this now in action. So we'll just arm a dub track, we'll record it in. So if we just open up and see the waveform, you can see we're square waving at the top of the peaks. Not good. So again, just to zoom in, you can see clearly there that we have clipped. So we'll just get rid of that. So play again. So some people drop down the master fader. So this will stop output distortion, but it's not ideal gain structure at all. Way two, people reduce level, is to drop the faders down. Again, we've stopped distorting the master output, but again, this isn't ideal gain staging. So we'll see the reason for this. As I mentioned earlier, effects come before the fader. So look at our level of effects. Coming through each of our effects, there's the input level. Now I drop down the fader to 0 and you can see we still have level coming through the exact same. Okay, so we'll reset our faders back to 0. So we don't have a trim knob on the tracks in Ableton, so rather got the same functionality just by clicking on the volume of the actual envelope. So we've set that to -10. -10 is a good level to set the highest track in your track. That allows you headroom after the fact. When you add all the tracks up together, you're not going to peak. You're not going to clip the output bus. So now we'll do the same thing with our bass. Play that back. So they've got a nice level balance between the two. We can adjust that slightly after the fact anyway, but that's good enough for now. So our third track. So this doesn't need to be loud at all because it's going to be quite background and it's high in frequency. So now we'll play the three together. So we can see we're getting decent level in, and now if we click on our dub track, you see what you can see. We've got level, which is decent, and we are nowhere near clipping. So our gain staging is way better now. So if things are slightly too low, we can always raise them after the fact. If something is clipping, there's nothing you can do. Okay, so our final gain staging example is signal flow. So we've got a series of plugins in sequence, and so the idea is to keep our levels exactly the same all the way across the board. So for compression, for example, so we're reducing by 1 point odd dBs, we need to boost so we get the same level coming out. So whatever you're doing, so if you're using a saturator to drive, you turn down the output accordingly, so your level is consistent all the way through. You get your level up as early as possible to the level you need, and you continue it all the way across. That's all there is to gain staging, but if you do that, you can make much more informed mixing choices, and you will produce much better quality work. So, I hope this tutorial has been a help to you. Please try it out. If you have any questions or suggestions, do drop me a line at waveformtraining@gmail.com. I'd just like to leave you one last tip. If I could give someone starting out music production one tip, just one tip, it would be this. Turn down your levels in the box so you're not peaking at any more than -10 on your loudest track, and turn up the level of your monitor speakers. So you'll get the satisfaction of hearing your playback at a decent level, but you're giving yourself lots of headroom, you're not clipping. So, if you don't believe me, try it out for a while, but it will improve your mixes more than anything else. So, hope this is a help, and see you next time. Thanks very much.